And I want you to know this before I go into details. A man who talks bad about your parents, you should not take an insult to, because it's not about you directly and it's not about you specifically. He just lacks respect for women in general, and he's just taking out on you right now. I'm pretty sure he's disrespected and made jokes about other women in the past, and he will in the future about other women. So don't take it too personal. Hey lovelies, I'm so happy to have you back, and I've missed you all so dearly. So today I want to talk about a really important topic. Since we already spoken about 5 red flags in friendships, let's talk about 5 red flags you should look out for when meeting new men, getting to know a new man, or just talking to a man in general. And I want to warn you guys, all these 5 things I'm going to talk about, I don't want you to overlook it no more. And I'm pretty sure you've experienced it. If you haven't, then once you've experienced it, you will know not to go there again. But if you've experienced it and you continue to talk to the same man or a different man who shows these red flags, please just learn from your mistakes, because it's never going to end well. And I promise you're better off single than dealing with a man who brings misfortune into your life. And that's how I would word it, because I think that's what it best describes it as. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick. But let's get straight into it with number 1. Any man who expects you to chase or wants you to make some sort of effort that might be equal to his or more than his, it's insane to me, and it's a big red flag, because I know we live in a generation where 50-50 is so big and equal rights and all of this, but guys, that's a red flag. He's in his feminine energy, and forget even energies and anything, it just simply means he doesn't like you that much. If a man really likes you, he would be the one making all the effort. He would be texting you, calling you, and by effort, this is what I mean. Any man who expects you to call first, text first, initiate the meet up, this is just a sign he doesn't like you that much, number 1. Number 2, he might like you, but if he's not initiating all this effort and he expects some sort of effort from you for him to continue making effort, that means he's got options, and you're probably not the favorite. If he's doing all of this, then that just means, he's an attractive guy, he probably has options, and he doesn't care enough to keep you, and that to me is not worth keeping. You can do way better, and you can find a man who keeps seeking you, keeps texting you, calling you, and not in the sense of he's annoying, he's always texting me 24/7, but in the sense of a man showing interest and showing you he likes you. So yeah, any man who expects you to do all of that is number 1, feminine, number 2, not that into you, so just move on and find better. No matter how much you like him, it's not worth it. You need to find a man who likes you 10 times more, if not 2 times more. Not even the same amount. The man has to like you more for you to be truly happy, I promise you. And you can find a man who you kind of like that really likes you, because I know you girls will say, but the men that like me, I don't like. Girl, come on. We will find a middle way. Just keep looking and leave the ones that want effort. Not worth it. Number 2 is when they get frustrated easily over small things, or just have a big reaction, even if it's a reasonable crash out, like you guys may say. Just the reaction, if he's overly dramatic over something that's not that big of a deal, that's a red flag. As well as a man that swears a lot, it just means he cannot control his emotions, he cannot even control his tongue, like what he's saying. Down the line, he might even get aggressive with you. It just shows that he cannot regulate his emotions, he cannot control his emotions. He's all over the place, and he's a very nervous man. He gets annoyed over anything. You never know what kind of arguments you guys might get into. He could start arguments over nothing and get so angry for nothing, and that will hurt your self-esteem, and not only your self-esteem, but it will put you in fight or flight mode constantly. And you don't need that. You don't need constant drama, constant cortisol level rising. You need to be happy, and the man next to you needs to bring you happiness. And the man who gets frustrated easily, swears a lot, has lack of emotional intelligence and emotional control, will not bring you happiness. He might make you feel happy sometimes when he buys you flowers or takes you on a date or calls you pretty, but the other minimum 50% of the time he's going to be crashing out. Whether it's about you or not, it will still affect you, because hearing shouting just as it is not nice to hear. It will bring your blood pressure up. Now imagine if he's shouting at you, imagine he's calling you names, imagine he's swearing at you, might even get aggressive with you. You don't need that. You deserve to be happy, and that is not gonna make you happy. So please just move on from men like that. Number 3 is men who talk bad about women or make jokes about your appearance. And I've grouped this under the same category because it's kind of similar. And I want you to know this before I go into details. A man who talks bad about your appearance, you should not take an insult to, because it's not about you directly and it's not about you specifically. He just lacks respect for women in general, and he's just taking out on you right now. I'm pretty sure he's disrespected and made jokes about other women in the past, and he will in the future about other women. So don't take it too personal and what he's saying too much. Like, oh my god, he thinks I'm ugly, he thinks I'm fat, he thinks I'm this and I'm that. Maybe, but that's not the real reason why he's saying it. He's just saying it because he wants to put women down. Maybe he's got mommy issues, maybe his mom is crazy or something, doesn't have a good relationship with her, or doesn't even have a mom. But he's just taking that on you. So don't ever take an insult from a man personally. So why you shouldn't talk to men who talk bad about women or make joke about your appearance? Self-explanatory. This man has no respect for women, and like I said, he might have some trauma behind it, some insecurity. It could even be insecurity. He might not feel man enough in his own skin that he needs to put women down. It could be many things, but don't take it personal and don't deal with that type of man. If you're in a day and he's just talking about women are this, women are gold diggers, women always want money, women always this, that, or he says you look better with no makeup on, he's just trying to make you look bummy so that other men don't find you attractive, because the competition is out there and he knows you look good. So if any other man that is better than him approaches you, his spot will be at risk. And stuff like that, saying you've gained weight, anything, is just insecurity. It's just self-hatred projected as hatred towards women, or possibly mommy issues, and it's not worth dealing with a man like that. So number 4, oh, I love this one because I always tell my friends about this one. Any man who from the start, early on, or personally for me, period, at all, ever, asks about your body count or your past. Now, some people might find it acceptable down the line to, get into personal details like that, and some of you might be interested in his too, which I strongly disadvise. I don't even know if that's a word, but I don't recommend it, because it will just bring up some feelings you don't need to feel. Whatever has happened. You don't need to know it. Please don't ask these questions to men. But if he asks you, I see that as such a red flag, especially if it's in the first week or 2 of you guys meeting. That is such a red flag. That means he's only got one thing on his mind. Sorry guys, I'm actually still sick a little bit. He's looking at you, worrying about one thing, and that is what's in between your legs. So he's worried about who have you had in the past and what kind of woman are you and stuff like that. So why would you want to be with a man like that? You need a man who genuinely worries about your personality, your outlook on life, your future, things deeper than just who you've been with. And another thing that it represents, not only him being a superficial man who just wants one thing, but it represents insecurity. If a man asks you about, the past and who you've been with, it just signals that he's insecure about his own abilities and what he can bring to you. He's not sure he can satisfy you. So he needs to know, are you an experienced woman, or do you not know what you're doing, so that whatever he's got going on will just pass as okay or good. So please, if a man asks you such personal questions, especially from the get-go, just leave. Because, and I promise you, there's guys out there who don't ask these questions. I've dealt with so many guys, I've spoken to so many guys that don't ask me these personal questions. And of course, maybe like a year ago, that was the last time someone has ever brought up that question to me, and I just straight up didn't answer. I was like, I don't feel comfortable talking about such it was on the second call. I just met this boy, and I'll call him a boy because he was a boy for this. I just met him. He maybe called me like the same day or the next day, and then the next day after that he called me again, and then that second phone call he asked me that question, and I was like, why are you asking me this? He's like, oh, I just need to know if you're a hoe, if you're easy, if you're this and that. And I was like, I'm not too comfortable talking about this. I don't know what type of girls you're talking to, but this is really inappropriate. And that's besides the point. I just never spoke to that man again after that. Because why is it on the second phone call? You don't know me. You don't know my favorite color, if I have pets, if I love dogs, if I love cats, how many siblings I have. Or maybe he even asked me these superficial questions, but you don't know much further beyond that point. You don't know the way I think. You don't know my goals and my future, but you're asking about my past already. Why does the past even matter? So please, ladies, there is good men out there who don't only care about that, and you can find them. So any man that asks you that, please, he is not a good man, and once he gets what he wants, he will leave, most likely, or lose interest, or start treating you bad. So yeah. And number 5, this is the last one. Men who are impatient or rush you or push you to do things you are not ready to do. And I can mean this in the broadest sense, but right now I'm kind of referring to sexual acts. Any man who pushes you and rushes you to do things should be locked up, number 1. Number 2, you shouldn't be dealing with them. That is just disrespectful, disgusting, once again, lack of self-control. Just, wow, like, this man is capable of putting you down. I'm pretty sure you guys know this already. I shouldn't even make this one a point, but I have to say it for the younger ladies who don't have as much experience in life, who might think that this behavior is okay, or might have been traumatized as a child and be kind of used to disgusting men in their life. But just know, baby, this is not okay, and not all men do this, and the ones that do it are sick creatures and should not be justified. You know, there is good men out there, guys. So yeah, I don't even know if I should go into depth on this one, because it's kind of self-explanatory. No man should be pushing you to do things, and this can be something very small as even a kiss. A man should not be persuading you to get a kiss out of you. And there's really guys out there, like I've met guys in the club who will dance with me and then be like, give me a kiss, and I'll say no, and they will keep persuading me, putting the drink in my mouth. That is disgusting behavior. And these people are really questionable and should not be walking around free, but I guess they are, because the system doesn't see that as rape. Or maybe it does, but you know how court systems work and how difficult it is. And besides that, even just when his moods change, I've been on a 3rd date with a boy. On the 2nd day, I wasn't ready to kiss him, so I said, no, it's a bit soon. Then on the 3rd date, he tried again, and I was like, not now, and later. I'm not ready right now. And his whole energy changed. He just went quiet. You know, his vibe just changed. I felt that energy shift. So I was like, this is not good. This is a red flag, because I understand it's not nice to be rejected, even though I didn't reject him. I understand why he might feel away, but the way he reacted, and it wasn't a bad reaction, it was just the change. It makes me think you're insecure, you're not ready to be rejected. And that's just a bit, because I've been with men who I've done the same thing where I wasn't ready for a kiss and I said, not yet, we don't know each other that much, and they kind of accepted that and kind of appreciate, like, okay, I like a woman that can, you know, stand up for herself and step her foot and be like, it will be on my terms. Or they kind of just like the chase, and that could be a red flag for other people, you know, liking the chase. But to me, that's just the type of men I like, the ones that like to chase, because that's how it kind of should be. So my point is, there will be men out there willing to accept your timing, willing to be like, okay, whenever you're ready. So any man who pushes you, rushes you, is impatient or changes energy, or even maybe more reactive than the guy I told you I've experienced, like maybe tells you, well, you're this, you're that, and like, how could you do this? Do you even like me? Do you even love me? Guilt trip. You know, there's all kinds of narcissists out there, and I can make a part 2 about the red flags in men, but it's just the ones I've experienced and I thought about telling you guys. So yeah, if you guys liked it and you want to know more, or want to know what to avoid doing when talking to men, then please let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys again. Hey lovelies, I'm so happy to have you back.